Welcome to your surf guide for Morocco. Apologies for my super professional setup here and how this video is going to go because I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to dive right into it and I'm going to give you guys all the information you need to know about Morocco. I believe, and it has been told to me many times while I was there, that Morocco is the next surf destination. People are buying homes, making homestays. It's really popping off and there's a good reason for it. This past trip that I just had really showed me all the amazing things that Morocco has to offer. And I'm going to break all those down for you. Taghazout is a very small town close to Agadir. And I'm telling you this because Morocco is huge and there's so many different parts to go to. You can go to Imswan, you can go to Safi, which a local to us is actually called Esfi. So apparently you don't pronounce the A. Anyways, I'm sure a lot of avid surfers have heard of Esfi and Taghazout as well. And just down the whole coast. Like, I don't even know, Dakhla, if I'm saying that right, also has amazing waves. Like, the whole coast is incredible. I've only ever been to Taghazout and Casablanca, but I'm going to tell you about my trip to Taghazout and break it down, show you where you want to go, who you want to call, where you want to stay, all that good stuff. It is friendly to all levels of surfing as well, which is why I think this is such important information to share with you guys and why I'm excited to bring that to you, because I realize a lot of people are not at that level of surfing, but they might want to progress their surfing, and there's certain places in the world that are really going to cater to that. So here we go. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the waves, and then we're going to get into accommodation and all those details that you guys obviously are going to need to know if you want to plan a trip to Morocco. First off, to go to Taghazout, you're going to fly into Agadir, which was a 20 euro flight from Portugal. So I'm just saying. We flew with Ryanair from Lisbon. The board bags, I think they can get expensive if they're heavy, but if they're under 20 kg, it wasn't too bad. All in, at the end of the day, round trip is probably like 200 per person. We flew into Agadir. Then you typically get a taxi if you book a all-inclusive place or any sort of surf camp. They usually have taxis to and from the airport. It's about an hour drive to Taghazout, depending on traffic. Once you get to your destination, there is a lot of waves around, some that are more beginner friendly and some that are for more advanced surfers. We stayed right at Anchor Point. Anchor Point is a very fun wave for all levels. We specifically went there when there was a swell. For the waves in Morocco, you typically need a pretty big northwest swell in the Atlantic. It's a good thing that the Atlantic likes to produce big swells. For example, we were in Portugal and we saw a storm that was going to last for about 3 weeks here. The waves were like 6 meters and it was nonstop wind, rain. We were like, all right, let's go to Morocco, where it was 4 to 5 foot, maybe 2 meters-ish, and offshore and gorgeous and warm every day. So it kind of a no-brainer, right? We saw that storm, and there's a lot of storms typically throughout winter here in the Atlantic, so it was an easy call to make. But I'm saying this because if you're an advanced surfer, you need a large northwest swell to enjoy Taghazout. Unfortunately, we didn't do enough like exploring and driving to other waves, but on the smaller days, there's a lot of beach breaks that are really fun as well. And you have a lot of options, and there's some really long, easy rolling point breaks that are perfect for beginners. Like the Gudauskas brothers called Taghazout like a yogi surfer girl's dream, basically. And then even Anchor Point, when it's big, the drop is pretty easy. It's not too fast of a wave. Like, see what I'm saying? It's really versatile, and there's a lot of waves for a lot of different levels of surfing. There is like Banana Point. There's Dracula, which is a good wave, but we didn't get to surf it. I think the tides were wrong or something, but that's like a pretty high level wave that's like difficult entry and exit to the water. Bottom line, there's a lot of options for all levels of surfing, so it's a very welcoming place for a lot of surf travel. So I've been there 3 times now, and the last time I was there was like 4 years ago, and the amount of tourists was like immense compared to last time. And that's another thing that's really important. If you do go to Morocco and go surf, like, please respect the locals. They are kind enough to share their lineup with so many tourists, and can be pretty frustrating as a local to have your home break like swarmed by people, especially when the waves are good. So just make sure you're always respecting locals wherever you travel to, and you're asking for help of where to go in and out of the water, trying to stay out of people's way. Like, this is just typical knowledge that I think is an important part of this video. But that being said, Anchor Point can really offer some amazing waves for all levels of surfing. But if you're an advanced surfer, you want a big northwest swell, specifically for the wave Anchor Point. That's what you're going to want. But there is right points galore down this coast, you guys. I'm just like, I want to explore, like, I want to take a van and I want to explore all of it. Haven't got the chance to do that yet, but it's definitely on my list since this last trip. The water in Morocco and the air is like, it never really changes. It's not cold, it's not hot. I love it for that reason. Like, I don't know what it is. I must just surf better in warmer water, because I swear to God, I swear it's a thing. But I was wearing a 3-2 with the legs cut off, and I was pretty warm until the north wind came. When the north wind came, I did put on a 4-3, which I didn't need a 4-3. I just didn't have a full length 3-2 with me. But I was perfectly fine almost every day in just a 3-2 with the legs cut off. I think early morning and like sunset sessions, you're going to want a 3-2, maybe even a 2-2, I think, depending on, because you paddle a lot if there's swell. So there is a few locations that you might want booties to get in and out of the water, but definitely don't need them. I brought mine, didn't use them, but we didn't surf Dracula, like I told you. That is water temp. The air temp is warm as well. I think it was like between 68 and 72 every day. So like 20 degrees every day. The water as well is like 20 degrees. So 20 degrees Celsius, like 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're pretty warm all year round there. Next on the list, let's talk about accommodation. The first year that my boyfriend and I went there, we stayed on the point at Anchor Point in a little Airbnb hosted by this guy named Abdel. It's called like the Romantic House. I have it linked in my Novello, so you can like literally click direct and book places that I've stayed. It's in my link tree, Novello. I'll link it below. But we booked, it's called like the Romantic House in Taghazout, and it is the coolest Airbnb I've ever stayed in. Like, I have a video on my TikTok and about it and everything. I'll try to link all that stuff below to all the places I'm going to mention. But this Airbnb is insane. Like, we fell in love with it. And we also made a really good connection with the guy. He's an incredible host. He's super nice, super responsive. If you're gonna stay at the point, which I highly recommend, book this Airbnb. It's always pretty booked out. So try to get your hands on it early, because it's an incredible experience. Like, the bed on the top, the views in the morning, the spiral staircase. Like, we did get to stay here for a couple days, but when we changed our tickets to extend the trip to make it longer because we were enjoying ourselves so much, we ended up staying at Paradis Plage, which is a insane option as well. Breakfast included, like, super nice. Obviously, the hotel experience is something we're not used to, but it's really nice actually to like come back to a clean house every day, clean towels, like, and there's a little kitchen in there, so you can like buy and cook your food and save money that way, because food is relatively cheap in Morocco. But at places like this, like the restaurants can be a bit more pricey. Like I said, you have a full kitchen, so you can cook, and there's a little market you can walk to. Paradis Plage was incredible. Like, the facilities, if you want to train, there's a nice gym, there's a good trainer, there's a pool, there's a spa. If you want to spend a little bit of extra money and stay at Paradis Plage, I think it's totally worth it, especially if you're going to be exploring the coast and surfing other waves. Then like, you don't need to stay on the point at Anchor Point. We specifically did that because my boyfriend had a qualifying series event at Anchor Point, so he wants to wake up and see the wave every day and only surf that wave, obviously. But this trip, we had a car, we were exploring, and Paradis Plage was an amazing experience. It's just so nice to have all of those things, like games and restaurants and the pool and breakfast included. Like, that was an amazing experience that was hard to beat, and it definitely felt good to stay in a really nice place, especially when I only packed like one pair of gym clothes, like 2 pairs of normal clothes, and like I didn't even bring a hairbrush because I thought we were going for 5 days, and then we changed our tickets and ended up staying for like a week and a half. So I wasn't prepared. So it was really nice to have like a clean, nice place every day to come home to. In terms of another option for accommodation, I have a very good local friend down there who owns like this nice house, I guess you could say, with 4 different rooms, and it can sleep like so many people. So obviously you can book your own room, but if you go as a group, this would be a great option. It's like got an amazing view. I only have one little video of it, but if you're interested in booking this place, the owner, who's my friend, I'll put his Instagram handle here and also mention him below. He films as well, and he's a very, very good filmer. So we booked him like every day to film us surfing, and he does an insane job filming. So if you want a filmer, if you want the whole 9, contact Achraf. He was amazing. I will also link his Airbnb and everything below. That leads me to my next point, contacting a filmer. So when there's good waves at Anchor Point, I found a couple local filmers would go down there and film the surfers, and maybe they'll find you on Instagram and send you your clips, but the camera quality, everything is not as on par as Achraf. So if you need to contact a filmer, contact Achraf. He's such a cool guy. He's going to hook it up. He's going to work hard, and he's going to get your clips. And yeah, he does a really good job. So that's your guy if you want clips. What else is there to talk about? The food was pretty inexpensive. Yeah, a typical plate at a restaurant on the inexpensive side was around 35 to like 70 dirham, which is like 3 to 7 euros, like kind of that range, 3 to 7 US dollars. If you didn't know, the euro and the dollar are like the same now. So that's what I would be referring to. And then the more expensive places were like 150 for a plate, which again is like 13 euros, 14 euros. So really inexpensive to go to Morocco. The accommodations, like I said, they can be expensive, but a lot of these places are pretty inclusive. I told you about the 3 that I stayed at. I did have a friend stay at Surf Morocco as well. She said she loved it. It was amazing. It was expensive, but it was all meals included. Like they drive you to the waves every day, but that's kind of more of like a surf camp vibe if you're into that. So for example, me, I would not want to do like a surf camp vibe because I want to go surf where I want to go surf. But if you're like a little bit intermediate level, kind of almost beginner, and you go with a group there that's around the same level, you'd be so taken care of and you'd be so set up. So that's something to think about. It just kind of depends on your preference. If you want an Airbnb to yourself, you want to rent a car, you should rent a car. But like if you don't want to rent a car and you stay at a surf camp, they'll obviously take care of your rides and all that. We rented a car from a local friend. I don't want to put his WhatsApp in this video. So if you're thinking about going to Morocco and you'd like to rent through like a local company that does insurance and they do everything properly, but it's not as expensive as renting a car from the airport or like from the town, just like send me a DM and I will try to pass that number along. The local car we rented was 250 dirham a day. So like 25 bucks a day, which pretty good. It was for a nice car. They picked us up at the airport. They picked the car back up at the airport, drove us to our place. They were super accommodating. I'm going to touch on this again because I think it's important. There's a lot of girls that travel alone and go through, Europe and Morocco and India and Bali and all that. And I want to mention that I did feel much safer here this time than I did 4 years ago. I don't really hear of anything bad ever happening. No break-ins to cars, not stealing things, especially in Taghazout. It's a very like touristy town. It's kind of a town where the locals will vacation to during the summer or like the weekend. So it's basically all tourists. In Morocco, ils parlent français et anglais. They speak French and English, and of course the local Moroccan language. The English I feel like they almost were speaking more English than French. The last time I went, it was more French, and now it's more English. I think just, again, more tourists coming in and out. I think that's it. And like I said, Morocco is kind of starting to pop off. If you go to Morocco, I hope you love it. I hope you have the time of your life. It's open for all surf levels. So I highly, highly recommend this place. I hope all this was helpful. Next stop for me is Indonesia. Get excited for all of that content. I'm super excited to share that with you guys and gonna try to document it all. Thanks for watching.